Welcome to the STARS program, seniors taking active roles in society. And now, here's your host, ANITA FINLEY.
I think everyone's going to enjoy this interview. I do a lot of interviewing of people with medical degrees, entertainment, all sorts of things, but I now have Paul Pryor, who is the founder of, well, let's just say he's the founder of AIM, which stands for
African Investment Management.
Yes, that's what it stands for, right? I don't know why I don't have. Yes, I have it right here. That's true. Okay, but what I want to do is talk about livingbetterfifty.com. That's really why we're here on the show today, because websites are now so common. Years ago, we couldn't get people to get on websites. It was too complicated. But one thing about the livingbetterfifty.com website, it's easy. In fact, I get one every day sent to me, and there are all sorts of interesting articles, whether it's on travel, home and food, or health and fitness, or retirement living, or beauty and fashion, or money and business, all sorts of things that we have in our life. You will enjoy this. So I'm going to have to ask the founder, Paul Pryor, what made you want to do this, Paul?
So we acquired the magazine in the beginning of this year after having worked with the founder of Living Better 50. It was founded back in 2011, and we had been contracted with our media company to rebuild the website. And as I got more and more involved into the operations and seeing the ladies and the readership of this magazine, it really stuck out to me. There was something really good to be involved in.
First of all, the name is great. I love it, Living Better
Absolutely.
50. That's good. And, of course, you picked the age 50, which is right smack in the middle.
Yep, absolutely. You're not too old or not too young.
Right, that's true. Now, you will get people younger and you'll get people older, but that's the whole point. You can decide how old you want to be when you read it. Well, now, tell us how you get the articles and who chooses them, and just be the publisher for us.
Yeah, so we have an international readership. Our main readership is based here in the U.S., but obviously because it's internet, it travels throughout the World Wide Web. We have readers in the U.S., Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, and all over Africa and Asia as well. So a very large readership, and obviously a large a lot of people that have got a lot of different things that they're looking for. We get a lot of our content and articles for our website, likewise, not only from people here in the U.S., but people all over the world. So as you go through the articles, you'll definitely see some things are maybe not spelled the American English way, but spelled like the English way or the Australian English way. So, we get content from contributors. We have about 4,000 contributors on our platform at the moment that have, either contributed one article or constantly, provide us with articles. We do open it up for people to submit content, and so there's a lot of ladies that have written articles that go on to Living Better 50 that then go on to write and build up their confidence to write, and publish their own books and things like that. So it's sort of a good mix of different content. We have a editorial team here that basically evaluates all the content and puts it through its test to make sure that it is grammatically correct and also something that people will want to read. And then once that is done, we then load it up onto our platform and make it available for people to read and to look at.
And, of course, everyone should know you have to support this, so it's supported by advertising, because that's the only way that people can really do this. So hopefully when you get onto this, when you get onto livingbetterfifty+.com, you will look at the advertisers, and hopefully, if they're of interest to you, you will get in touch with them. That's what kind of the way it works now. We used to do this with magazines. We still do it with magazines, but the World Wide Web has certainly taken over. So let's just take, for instance, the people who are writing about money and business. Now, that's a very interesting subject, especially if it's worldwide, because what happens in the United States doesn't necessarily happen abroad.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so some of the information, obviously, when the editorial team will have a look at it, that we will evaluate that and make sure that the fundamentals of the articles are going to be more universal, not specific. So a lot of we don't really do specific tax or different things like that, but we'll basically do a lot more things about how to invest into different things and what to look for as you invest, and ideas. Also, a lot of the articles, from a fitness point of view, we have actually got people that own and operate fitness facilities or gyms that then write and forward their best best exercises and things that they should be doing if sitting at home looking for some exercising to do.
Right, it's important. In fact, I just had a doctor on the show, and he talked about everyone should do 10,000 steps a day if they want to get rid of high blood pressure, get rid of diabetes. I was standing for his whole show. I took to the chair now here in the studio, but I should stand again because we all know that that's so important. Now, you are a South African, which is very interesting. I don't think I know anyone from South Africa. Is it a beautiful country? I mean, I've seen certain movies that show South Africa, but why don't you tell us what it's like there?
Yeah, I mean, South Africa is a beautiful country. It's one of the countries like the United States that's got such a varied sort of ecosystem. We have deserts in the northern parts of South Africa that lead into the Sub-Sahara Desert, all the way down to weather very similar to that of Florida, where it's hot and humid all year round. Cape Town is, got Table Mountain, which is most definitely one of the world's wonders, how a mountain of that size just absolutely comes right out of the ocean, literally, when you look at it. So it's, got a lot of very beautiful mountains and grasslands and things like that. I grew up mainly in Johannesburg, which is the largest city in the world with no natural water sources to it. The only source it had was gold, and so it attracted everybody to Johannesburg in the years gone by. But beautiful country. A lot of the culture and everything from South Africa comes from the European and British influence that we have. So it's very, ties in a lot with what goes on in Europe, and very neatly tied. But obviously, in South Africa, we all watch American-made movies like everywhere else in the world. So we sort of feel pretty well connected to the United States as well.
Right. So where was Out of Africa? Was that in South Africa?
That was filmed in Kenya, as far as I know. So Kenya is very different, a little bit different to South Africa. And we in South Africa, all sort of wild animals are kept in reserves, so they don't roam, around in general. Whereas in Kenya, they have laws in place where once you move out of the city limits, it's free game. So, you can be driving along the highway and have to slam on brakes so that you don't hit an elephant or a giraffe.
Oh, no kidding. That should be interesting.
Yeah, whereas in South Africa, all the animals are kept into, locked up and gated reserves and things like that.
I see. Well, it's one thing that you have to applaud the internet for is we've certainly been able to travel without leaving our couch.
Absolutely.
And so
it definitely has opened the world a lot.
Right. And what actually made you come? You've left there. You don't have your businesses there anymore, I gather, or you have some, but this is where you want to be. Yeah.
My wife and I immigrated to the U.S. back in 2006, and we've been here for 13 years. And we really were looking for, some different opportunities. We had lived in Europe before that as well. And, we just really, were following the American dream of being able to go somewhere new and be able to apply our skills and everything else and build a better future for ourselves and our children. So from a point of view in South Africa, it's a limited market and things like that. And so we wanted to, move to the U.S. as it had more opportunities for us and our children.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you've done something good. And this is different because I do notice from your website, which is, can we say anything about your website, actually? AIM4?
Sure.
Yeah, AIM4, great name. And it stands, of course, for your company's name, but it's a good name. So I noticed that you've been in a lot of businesses, agriculture, media, what other things too?
Yeah, I'm a born entrepreneur. I've been involved, I did play professional tennis for a short time. And so the first business I started was actually in sports equipment. And very quickly we were doing sports equipment in 3 continents of the world, based out of South Africa, and then went also into mining and minerals. So we, coming from South Africa, a big mining country and industries over there. We've also been in electronics, manufacturing of electronics and things like that, agriculture, and finance and things like that. As a investment company, AIM sort of invests into various different industries, and basically facilitates almost like a private equity fund the operations of those businesses. So a lot of the operations that we do are funding other companies that are maybe on the ground doing the work.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. So that's good. Then, well, we need more people like you in the United States to help fund organizations. So I'm glad that you're here. And what are you doing in Pennsylvania, where you're calling from?
Well, we in the process of relocating. So my family's been up here, and we just sort of, spending some time together and finishing things up here.
Yes, yeah, it's interesting that you would find your way to Pennsylvania from South Africa. Usually it's New York or Chicago or Miami, but Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's the most common question we got asked when we moved here, and really it was because I was able to get a specific visa that allowed me to immigrate.
Oh, I see.
To a job here in Pennsylvania. So
okay.
That's why.
Yeah, well, that's good. There's always a reason for everything. I thought I had to ask you that also. So
absolutely.
Let's get back into, this is Paul Pryor, by the way, and he is the founder of the new Living Better 50.com. And we're talking about the website. So for those of you who are listening, I don't know if you can do 2 things at the same time, but you can certainly get onto their website and start to see some of the various articles. Now, it's not very large at the moment. You're probably growing it, aren't you?
Yeah, the magazine had sort of stagnated with the original owner, and when we came and took over the website, and so that was really one of the big things. So we've been growing it. We're at about 20,000 unique readers every month at the moment. So it's it's not small, but it's not as big as we want it to be, most definitely. So we're growing it. But the website's seen a lot of growth and readership so far since we've taken over it, introducing a lot of new campaigns and different things of doing it, as well as then also we, sort of like have been growing in our ranking. So we're sort of the top 700,000 websites in the world at the moment. So we've grown that from just outside the top 1 million. So it's been a lot of work, but it's good to see some of the results.
Well, also the articles you right now, I don't know how many you have, but what is your anticipation of having 20, 30, 40? I don't know.
Well, we have about 17,000 articles at the moment on our servers. So those have been added over the couple of years, and we're sort of adding probably about 20 to 30 new articles a week. So that will continue to grow through Living Better 50 and all that. So yeah, it's, there's fresh material on a regular basis, but there's certainly a lot of years of very good content as well sitting in the back end.
So it's all archived?
Still very relevant.
Is it archived?
Well, it's archived, but it's readily available. One of the things that we do with the internet is that we're able to make suggestions to people. They're able to go from one article to the other. Linking is such a huge thing. So a lot of our content will link to other articles and resources on the website, but also to articles and resources inside of our platform. So if you're reading an article about fitness, it'll then suggest another article that is sort of applicable for what you're reading in that one particular article.
Mm-hmm. Right, that's what it does. It actually, I'm really addicted when I get onto something I really like. It never stops. You get from this and it goes to that. Especially if you're on YouTube or other things that, like, before you know it, you've had hours sitting there doing this, and that's not good when you're a busy person. But it's what it does.
Absolutely.
I understand that, and so you're certainly on the right track, and I'm very happy about knowing you and seeing your livingbetter50.com. So let's talk about the home and food. Do you have any specific experts that? First of all, I haven't seen any YouTubes on your site. Did you have any, and did I miss them?
We do. We actually, at the top right of the pages, there's a link to our specific video platform that we have. So we created a platform that sort of that has all the videos and everything else. There's a few videos in some of the articles, but we have a specific video platform that just sort of allows people to, see all the relevant sort of articles. So we have quite a few videos there, but that is something that we're growing and going to continue to put more into. On the, home and food side, I mean, definitely, we have people that have published books that then come back and, they put a few of their recipes up on Living Better 50 so that they can continue to give back into the community.
Yes, I understand. Okay, so now I was thinking about, of course, we're doing a radio show, and you can put this radio show on your website. Do you have a place for it?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We can put a link into it so that people can stream straight through the platform your shows. Good.
Well, let me ask you, because you sound like you're a futurist in many ways, because you've jumped into something that there weren't too many things like what you have. What do you think's in the future, generally speaking, with all this technology?
I think one thing that does, sort of frustrate me a little bit about the future is, I'll give you an example. There's a highway here in Pennsylvania that they've been working on, and it's like they seem to be building the same thing over and over again, and not really thinking forward and saying, where should cars and where should transportation be in the next 10, 15, 20 years from now, and really starting to build the infrastructure for that industry and for that economy. So I do. I mean, I think that at the end of the day, there's a lot of potential for change and a lot of exciting things to happen, but we really do, as people, hold it back a lot more than what we should. So I think that's one of the key things that, I think in transportation and things like that, there's so many improvements that we can make, where we can sort of eliminate, I know there's a huge thing about self-driving cars that's been going on,
right,
in the last couple of years.
Right.
And, as great as that is, it's, there's still, issues with it that I can understand why people don't want to move with it. But, there's plenty of ways to power cars via electric. But, people just don't seem to want to really engage into that future thing. So sometimes it's a little bit frustrating when I think about that, because I'm totally open and a lot more aggressive in my viewpoint on some of the different things that can be done, and the technologies are there. I think back probably 14, 15 years ago, there were 3D printers out that could literally print a house in developing Africa in 3 hours.
No kidding.
And for like hundreds of dollars. This technology has been out for a very long time, and yet you still have homeless people. So it's, those kinds of challenges and frustrations. As someone that is forward-thinking as I am, it certainly does sometimes get frustrating.
I'm sure you do. That's quite an example. So you would like to, of course, see things move quicker, and they should be able to. And I don't know what is it? What weighs it down? Actually, I have no idea.
I think it's people don't like change, and things like that.
They don't like
I think people in general don't like to see things change, and so they want it to be the way it was when they were kids, and nostalgia and all that stuff. Maybe there's also the fear of, what does the new economy look like, and how do people get employed and have jobs and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure your parents were, they encouraged you and you're always coming up with new ideas. I can hear it now. What's he thinking of now, right?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, we're busy looking into some things. I mean, it's, I'm a big believer in if you're either moving forwards or you're reclining backwards. And, a lot of people seem to think that they can tread water, but I just believe that those are just people that are fooling themselves, that they're actually declining in their state that they are in at the moment. So, for myself, I'm constantly looking forwards, looking into new opportunities, into different industries that there's opportunities to add value and, be able to invest into those industries.
Well, of course, we have robots. We have robots in medicine, and we have robots, seems like, everywhere. I haven't seen any driving cars yet, but maybe that's next. Of course, as you said, we have driverless cars. But, I mean, I think there are so many inventions waiting to be invented.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so your name's going to go down as one of them. So the moment, everybody, why don't you get into livingbetter50.com and look at it, see if you find anything you really like. And once you do that, how do you get the names? Once someone clicks on it, then you just continue to send them something?
Yeah, we do 4 emails a week. Where we basically send out to them the relevant and the latest topics that sort of go with it. We sometimes follow the themes of Fitness Friday and Soulful Sundays and things like that. So we'll find articles that definitely are applicable and something worth reading on that day.
Maybe I missed it, but did you have authors and books? I don't remember seeing any of that.
Well, actually, we do. I mean, we do have authors. One of the new initiatives that we're bringing out is book reviews.
Yeah.
So it's something that definitely from a point of view of being able to share with people, some of the latest books. We do receive numerous books from different authors and publishing houses to read, and so we're busy putting together all that content so that we can start to share that with the readers.
Yes, the one thing that I have found with Boomer Times is everyone wants to be on the radio and they want to be in the magazine and everything else we do, but they're not so fast to write the check. Everyone wants free.
Yep. Absolutely. No, we get that a lot, and that's, I think at the end of the day, that's where we, try and just speak to people about the fact that there are costs to do what we're doing, and at the end of the day, we have a service to offer, and that's why we need to charge money for it sometimes.
And when you think about it, the public they really do get the benefits of everything, just like we're having our Boomer Expo, and it's free to go into it, and you can win prizes. Years ago, everything costs money, but now free is the big word, isn't
it? Well, everyone likes it free, absolutely, and I think, even to have a contest or something like that only one person can win it. But it's it's the involvement of everybody that makes it worthwhile.
Yes, that's so well said. That's true. So, as a person who's been in this business for so many years, we're very we always look at what other people are doing also, and we certainly appreciate your website, and our website is up, and we have other things we have to do because we have the magazine that goes along with it and all our other events. But the big thing about websites now, if you have an event that's, I don't know how you can specify because you have people all over the world. So what would you do with events, or can you not do them?
Well, I think that's, one of the things that we're trying to do within the magazine is most definitely trying to find more local readerships. There's actually ways to build these websites that they can be more, specific to location. So a lot of the advertising that we do can be specific to, where you live. So a specific advertising space can actually be for where, someone's sitting in South Florida. And then if somebody sits in, the United Kingdom, they're going to see completely different advertising. So in the same way, you can actually do the same thing with pages, so that you can then start to offer more local information for those people. And, South Florida is for the market of Living Better 50, it's a huge market because it's, a lot of the retirees and people that are moving into that time of their life. And so, it is definitely something we want to be able to play a role in the more local community there.
Yeah, that's very good. Well, we've run out of time, but it's been wonderful talking to you, Paul. We certainly,
likewise, Anita.
we certainly look forward to more. And livingbetter50.com is on the horizon. Make sure you go and look it up and see what you think about it. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Anita. Appreciate it.
Have a safe trip back here. Bye.
Will do. Bye.